Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I will be doing a quarterback ranking after this year's Super Bowl. But anyways, before we get started, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 80 subscribers by the end of the year, and also like and share. And yeah, anyways, let's get straight into the video. First, we have Josh Allen here. I think we can put him in the good category. He is definitely top 5, but I don't think he is elite just yet. I feel like if he can win a Super Bowl, he will be considered elite. Did fall off a little bit towards the end of the year, and was hyped up incredibly going into the season, but maybe didn't live up to the hype, but it's definitely still a very, very quarter. Next up here, we have Jacoby Brissett. These are in their actual uniforms that they're playing, but I feel like he could go into the replaceable starter category. He can fill in for a team when they need him to, and yeah. Derek Carr here, he definitely did fall off after this year, but I don't think he's bad enough to put him in the replaceable starter category, but I don't think he's good enough to put him in the good category, so I'm just going to put solid to mediocre category. Many were looking at him as being a potential All-Pro selection because of him pairing up with Davante Adams, and also with Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow around him, and yeah, he was hyped up as well as their team incredibly going into the year, but definitely, obviously, did not live up to that hype. Next, we have Dak. He is, in my opinion, the most overrated player in the NFL right now. He is definitely in a middle category. I don't think he's solid to good, or solid to mediocre, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's great, but I'm just gonna put him in the good category. Yeah. Sam Darnold here, I'm in a replaceable starter category. Towards the end of the year, he started to have a couple good games, and yeah, I feel like he's never going to live up to that potential or to the hype he had coming out of college, and yeah. Davis Mills, backup. I'm not even going to have to think much about this one, and yeah, he is probably just going to be a career backup for the rest of his NFL career. He was hyped up a little bit going into the year. Maybe people were saying maybe the Houston Texans has something in him, and in year 2 he did not live up to that production. So yeah. Daniel Jones here, he is probably one of the most improved players from this year. Played pretty well when he was playing with the New York Giants, a true game manager, and yeah, I feel like maybe his stat sheet wasn't incredible, but the way he handled games with precision and confidence was very good, and I liked what I saw from him on film. So yeah. Justin Fields here. I am a huge fan of Justin Fields, but I don't think he's bad enough to put him into the replaceable starter category or the good category. So I'm just gonna put him in solid to mediocre, and yeah, I feel like this is a good slot here for him. Next, I have Geno Smith. I'm not gonna think much about this. He is not elite, but he is not bad either, and or he's not solid either. He's a good quarterback. Earned a Pro Bowl selection, and yeah, played pretty well. Next, we have Jared Goff. I'm going to put him right here ahead of both Justin Fields and Derek Carr. He's started to turn it up in the second half of the season, put on and has had some great statistical performances, and nearly led the Lions to a playoff berth in their season just before having the number 2 overall pick and having a 3-13 record. So yeah, I feel like he performed very well in his second year with the Lions, and yeah, I feel like he can be the franchise quarterback for them for years to come if he can just get some more playmakers and everything like that. Next, we have Justin Herbert. I do believe he's going to go in the good category, but I don't know whether to put him ahead or behind Geno. For now, I'm going to put him ahead of Geno Smith. He had dealt with a lot of injuries to his wide receiving core, and yeah, I felt like he definitely got a lot taken away from him with his offensive coordinator, play calling skills, and yeah, but I feel like he can go into the good category and go slightly ahead of Geno Smith in the category for now. Tyler Huntley, replaceable starter. He got named to a Pro Bowl, which was completely mind-boggling to me. Definitely did not deserve it in my opinion, but yeah, I feel like he can be put in the spot. He can handle games when he's thrown in there, but I don't feel like he's bad enough to be a career backup. I don't feel like he's good enough to start games for anyone. So yeah, I feel like that's a good slot for him, and maybe put him ahead of Sam Darnold. Next up, Jalen Hurts, elite. Uh, Even though he did not win the Super Bowl, was very close to MVP, and probably should have won it had he not been injured for the last couple of games of the season. And he did lose the Super Bowl, so yeah, I feel like that's a good slot for him. I feel like he is an elite quarterback right now at this level, and yeah. Next up, we have Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm gonna put him in the solid to mediocre category. And yeah, I feel like this is a good spot for him. Maybe slightly behind Derek Carr, maybe slightly ahead. I don't know. That'll be determined at the end of the video when we do the final rankings. But yeah. Next up, we have Joe Burrow. I am a big fan. I am a decently big fan of Joe Burrow, and I feel like he can be put at elite. So far, he kind of is on a Hall of Fame career. If he can just continue this for the rest of his career, I don't really have a doubt that he will be placed in the Hall of Fame. And yeah, he has been a great quarterback ever since his rookie year. And yeah. Next up, we have Kirk Cousins, and I'm gonna slot him in the good category, slightly behind Geno Smith. He played well this season, maybe had a little bit of a down year, but him and Justin Jefferson are two of the best duos in my opinion. Maybe a little bit of a reach there, but I do feel like they are a good duo, and yeah, I'm kind of a fan of Kirk Cousins. I like the way he plays, and yeah. Next up, we have Kyler Murray. I'm gonna slot him slightly above Kirk Cousins, but not as good as Geno Smith. Had a ton of hype going into the year with his huge contract that he signed. The biggest part of that contract, ironically, was the film study clause that they ended up removing from his contract because he complained so much about it. But yeah, I feel like injuries this season has definitely bumped him down a couple spots, and I feel like this is a solid place for him here, in the middle of a really good quarterback or decent good quarterback, if that makes any sense. Next up, we have Lamar. I'm going to slot him behind Joe Burrow. He is a great quarterback, but I don't feel like he is better than the two guys up here. So, yeah, I feel like he is having a great career so far, and, yeah. Next up, we have Trey Lance. I'm going to put him... This is really hard. He could go to the backup category because he has not seen much action, or he could go to replaceable starter. For now, I will put him in the backup category just because we haven't seen too much from him. Drew Lock, don't know why he's on this list. This was a list created before the 2023 season, so if you see guys in different uniforms, that's why. I'm going to put him in backup. It kind of, if you don't know who he is, that's what you can take from it. And, yeah, Jordan Love, put him in backup. Haven't seen too much from him. Very similar to what Trey Lance has had in his career. Not too much. We haven't seen too much. Mac Jones, he is a replaceable starter. Going into the year, he adds a little bit of hype because of his really good rookie campaign, but with their offensive coordinator leaving, Josh McDaniels, to go to the Raiders, I feel like he had a really bad play calling, and that kind of threw him off. Also, with a little bit of injuries, definitely derailed it. Patrick Mahomes, elite. Don't have to talk about it too much. 2 days after him winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, you don't really need to say much. Next up, we have Malik Willis. I am a Titans fan, but I can't put him in the replaceable starter category. Played horribly as a starter, and yeah, I feel like he can go behind Jordan Love here. Marcus Mariota. I'm gonna put him in replaceable starters behind Sam Darnold. Maybe a little bit ahead. But yeah, I feel like that's a good slot for him. Did not play well as a starter for the Atlanta Falcons. And I can't attribute that too much to his play, but he did not have a great starting cast around him. Next up, we have Matt Ryan. I'm going to put him at replaceable starter, slightly above Tyler Huntley and Marcus Mariota. And yeah, did not have a great season. Was hyped up a little bit going into the year with him being on the Colts, having a decent supporting cast around him, but did not look nearly the same as he always did in Atlanta. And yeah. Next up, we have Gardner Minshew, backup. I'm going to put him pretty high on here. Played well in Jacksonville, but has not seen too much playing time in Philadelphia for obvious reasons, with Jalen Hurts being their elite quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky, backup. Another guy that or a guy that was taken above Patrick Mahomes, and yeah, did not turn out too well for the Chicago Bears, and that's why you see him in a Bills uniform. But he did play on the Steelers for a while, but was benched for rookie Kenny Pickett. Next up, we have Tom Brady. I'm not going to slot him on here, but he would be an elite just because he is the GOAT. But yeah, I'm not going to slot him in here just because he is retired. And Kenny Pickett here, I'm going to put him at replaceable starter, slightly behind Mac Jones. In his first year, did not play with a great offensive line. And yeah, had some deficiencies on the offensive line and everything like that. Next up, we have Desmond Ridder. I'm going to put him at replaceable starter behind Sam Darnold and the rest of the guys on this list. Might be a little bit of a reach, but he played okay at best in his few starts, but did not show too much to prove himself to be a great quarterback. Next up, we have Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to put him at elite. Did have a down season, but the rest of his career says otherwise. He has been an incredible quarterback for his entire career. And, yeah, if he retires on this day, he will be a Hall of Famer, without a doubt in my mind. And, yeah. Next up, we have Russell Wilson. I'm going to put him at solid to mediocre. I know this might be a huge stretch just because of what he did this season, but I did not feel like that was completely deserved. There was a lot of bad stuff going on with the play calling and everything like that. And a lot of injuries derailed that. So I feel like he could go in replaceable starter at the number 1 slot here, but I'm going to put him in the solid to mediocre. Matthew Stafford, solid to mediocre. We did not see too much from him, and the rest of his team was incredibly disappointing. Going to put him slightly above Russell Wilson here. Ryan Tannehill, gonna put him right above Russell Wilson. I'm not a fan of. I am a Titans fan, but I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Tannehill. And yeah, I feel like I don't have to say too much about that. And yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, I'm gonna put him at replaceable starter behind, slightly above Tyler Huntley. He's a guy who can manage games when he's thrown into action, but probably will not be a great starter in the league. Next up, we have Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to put him in the good category, slightly above Daniel Jones. Showed some huge strides in year 2. And, yeah, played pretty well. Led their team to a playoff victory against the Los Angeles Chargers. And that was just 1 year away from coming off with the number 1 selection and the worst team in the league, record-wise. So, yeah. Next up, we have Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to put him at solid to mediocre, but I'm going to put him pretty high on here. I'm going to put him to here. I feel like he is a decent quarterback. Not an incredibly good quarterback, but I'm going to slot him in front of Daniel Jones here. And, yeah. Next up, we have Deshaun Watson. I'm going to put him in solid to mediocre behind Russell Wilson. Did not see too much from him. Did not play like a guy that it was worth 3 first-round selections. And, yeah, was very rusty coming off his suspension. Did not play well. Carson Wentz, backup. I mean, he's probably the best backup out of this bunch. Played as a starter for a while. Was not a great starter, but he is an all-right backup. Jameis Winston, did not see a lot of him throughout the entire year. Gonna put him at replaceable starter. Slightly in front of Teddy Bridgewater. Last up, we have Zach Wilson. I'm going to put him at replaceable starter, slightly above Marcus Mariota. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.